Hey, welcome to the Easy Flight Talk Show. Today we're talking about the 6 strangest planes of all times.
Stay tuned. So every week here on the Easy Flight Talk Show, we bring up interesting topics in the world of aviation, RC planes,
Anything that flies.
flight. And in this week's video, we're going to talk about some weird-looking planes.
That existed and actually flew.
Because we've all seen the videos where on YouTube, you know, it shows the planes with like 6 engines and
Yeah,
like
it's like totally photoshopped.
every one of those is Photoshopped. There's probably some people that actually think those are real.
Yeah, I know, but these are real. They flew. They existed. All that.
So let's get into the first one, which is Northrop Tactic Blue.
In February 1982, it first flew, and in my opinion, it looks like a cross between a cardboard box and a milk carton. Like literally, it almost doesn't look aerodynamic.
It doesn't even look. It looks like something you drew when you were like 2 years old, and like, "Hey, Dad, here's a plane."
Yeah, I mean, it's got a square nose.
Yeah, it looks completely.
This is probably like one of the very few planes with a square nose.
Yeah, and it was built for radio communications, or they built it as like a complete
battlefield observation.
kind of like a complete ground station in the sky.
Yes.
But nowadays we have drones, and we don't need these anymore. So
Right.
let's go to the next one, which was the CONVAIR XFY1 POGO, nicknamed the POGO.
Because when it took off, it kind of went like this.
It was a vertical, or a VTOL aircraft, take off vertically or land vertically.
Here's what I find very interesting. It reached Mach 1, and it's a turbo-driven prop-driven airplane.
And that's like, I wonder if that's the fastest prop-driven airplane.
You know, I'd kind of like to look that up too. Maybe we can
It's
do another
interesting. It
video
went
about
really
that.
fast, but they found that it was too hard to control, to take off and land,
Yeah.
and to transition from forward flight into takeoff.
The main drawback was they wanted it on every carrier, but they said the most experienced pilots only could fly it.
And you want to do the next one?
All right, so the next one is the VOUGHT V173 FLAPJACK.
Flapjack.
It literally looks like a pancake. I think it was a combination of jets and turbo-driven motors. I'm not sure.
I'm pretty sure it actually had Corsair, a F4U Corsair props on the front.
Yeah, it was made by VOUGHT. Charles Zimmerman wanted to design something without wing turbulence.
And because of the design, it's got the propellers on each side, all the way in the front, and there's no wingtips.
Yeah, they like stick out like, what would you say, 6 feet in front of the cockpit?
Yeah, and
it had near vertical takeoff capabilities.
It could take off almost vertical, like really short takeoffs. And the biggest reason for the design was to eliminate wingtip vortex.
The turbulence and everything.
No wingtips meant that there's no spiraling.
It also says that it was the cause for many UFO sightings.
It looks like a UFO.
Yeah, it's like a pancake. So the first flight was on November 3rd, 1942.
So the next that we got right here is the NASA AD-1. It's the only one of its kind. It was the first and only. It's called an oblique wing design.
Yeah, it was understood since the 40s that if you could change the sweep of the wing, you would reduce drag and make your plane go faster. This one, the whole wing pivoted on the fuselage. Most of you have probably actually seen this. It's fairly popular, but one wing was actually forward swept and one wing was rearward swept. But when it landed, they were just equal.
I was really surprised. I'd never seen this before. Just similar to the F-14 fighter, the wings fold back.
Only one folds forward. It's actually just one solid wing.
It's just one solid wing, the whole wing, and it looks like it wouldn't even fly, but it's interesting when you take a look at it. It actually worked. The first flight was in 1979.
So this is the second oddest plane in the world, officially. It's the Northrop HL-10. It has no wings.
No wings.
It's got a lifting body. It was made for NASA as a re-entry vehicle for, like from the space stations, I guess.
And this thing also looks more like a alien or spaceship.
Yeah, it's like a bullet almost with little vertical stabilizers. Its first flight was on December 1966. It was dropped by a B-52. The first flights, I believe, were just glide flights.
Yeah, it was just dropped by a B-52.
It wasn't until later that they actually did power flights.
So this last plane is in our opinion, the most weird-looking plane.
Number 1.
Now, we couldn't find out how to pronounce this. I think it's called the WETLAND Pterodactyls. And it kind of sounds like pterodactyl, the dinosaur.
It's a weird name.
And it looks like a dinosaur. His name was Captain GTR.
That's an initial, by the way.
And he wanted to make a safer, spin-resistant, stall-proof airframe. And remember, this was back in like
20, I think.
Yeah, 1920 something. And
Yeah.
now the company Icon is making the Icon A5 with the spin-resistant.
Yeah.
And it's all revolutionary. Well,
It's the same. They have the same idea and thrust
This guy was-
as he does.
This guy
Or
was
did.
doing it back in 1924, and his wife helped build it. She didn't help design it, so
Yeah.
never mind.
Really, when you look at it, it's kind of simple, actually. It's basically just like a delta wing with a little carrying pod underneath.
It looks like something like Leonardo da Vinci would have tried to design.
Yeah,
and
it really does.
It looks like this is like something from a storybook, but it actually flew and worked good. They made like 7 versions of it, I think, and then it transitioned into the flying boat, I think, eventually.
Yeah.
But the fact that it doesn't have a vertical stabilizer really either.
Well, it's
or
got
a
those wingtip
small,
verticals.
very small wingtip vertical stabilizers. The first flight was 1924. They launched the glider, and then soon after that they had their
Yeah, they had
flying
a
version.
powered version.
And so
All right, there it is on the table. The 6 oddest planes, in our opinion, in the world.
And if you guys have any ideas of any other weird planes we might have missed, make sure to leave that in the comments below.
And we're looking for odd, not futuristic.
Yeah, there's a difference between these are not future.
Like the Boeing bird of prey is futuristic.
We'll have to do a video on the futuristic looking planes maybe.
Yeah, there we
If
go.
you have any ideas for a new video episodes, because we're going to be releasing these weekly, comments below. Make sure to subscribe, and we'll see you later.
All right, bye.